Have you ever heard of a craft addict? Well, I'm not talking about those very talented individuals who can make a beautiful quilt in a week or knit a sweater in a day. No, that's a gift. I'm talking about people like me who love to do crafts but have a hard time stopping. For some of us, it can be a fun hobby and a creative outlet, but for others, it can become an addiction. For some of us, it can be a fun hobby and a creative outlet, but for others, it can become an addiction. Crafting can be incredibly rewarding. Seeing the fruits of your labor come to life, whether it's a knitted blanket or a painted picture, is a great feeling. But it can also be easy to get carried away. Before you know it, you've spent hours on your latest project and still don't feel like you're done. That is why it is important to be aware of the signs of craft addiction so you can stay in control and enjoy your hobby without letting it control you. First, let's talk about the different forms this can take. Just like any addiction, it can manifest itself in different ways. For example, it could be collecting and hoarding supplies, thinking that one day you'll use them. Or it could be constantly buying new patterns and books, always searching for the next big project. It could also show up as an inability to finish projects, always starting something new before the old one is complete. Or it could mean spending way too much money on supplies or taking up way too much space with your stash of fabrics, yarns, or whatever medium you work with. Bouncing from one craft to the next is also another sign. If you find yourself trying out a new craft every few months without really sticking with any of them, it could be a sign that you're addicted. This is what I did for years. I tried pottery, stained glass, jewelry making, painting, drawing, knitting, crocheting, and the list goes on. And although I loved doing all of these things, I couldn't stick with any of them because I was just trying to outrun the feeling that I needed to create. Here are some signs that you may be a craft addict. First sign is that you have a hard time stopping even when you want to. You know you should stop, but you just can't seem to bring yourself to put down your tools. You tell yourself you'll just finish this one last project, just one more row, one more bead, one more stitch, one more piece, just a little bit longer and then you'll stop. But that never seems to happen. Before you know it, the whole evening or even the whole day has gone by and you haven't stopped working the entire time. When you do finally stop, you may feel a sense of guilt or shame for not being able to stop. But don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. It is just a sign that you need to take a break and refocus on other areas of your life. It is important to take a step back and evaluate how much time and energy you are devoting to your crafting. If it's becoming an unhealthy obsession, it's time to make a change. Remember, it's okay to indulge in your hobbies, but it's also important to keep everything in balance. Another sign is that you start to neglect your responsibilities. Do you find yourself skipping out on important events or obligations in order to stay home and craft? Maybe you're neglecting your friends and family because you'd rather spend time alone with your projects. If you're starting to prioritize your crafting over your relationships and responsibilities, it may be time to reevaluate your habits. Crafting should be a fun and enjoyable activity, not something that causes stress and guilt. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, take a step back and decide if crafting is really worth it. The third sign is that you start to feel anxious when you're not crafting. Do you feel restless or irritable when you don't have your crafting supplies nearby? If you feel like you need to craft in order to relax, then it may be a sign that you're becoming addicted. Crafting should be a source of relaxation and enjoyment, not something that you feel anxious about. If you find yourself getting agitated or upset when you don't have your supplies with you, then it may be time to take a break and focus on other activities. Remember, it's important to have a healthy relationship with your hobbies and not let them control your emotions. Next, we have that you're spending way too much money. Have you ever found yourself buying more supplies than you can possibly use? If you are spending large amounts of money on crafting supplies and you cannot stop even when you want to, then it may be time to take a closer look at your habits. It's important to remember that crafting should be a fun and relaxing experience, not a financial burden. So if you're feeling like you're out of control, don't hesitate to reach out for help. There are resources available to help you manage your spending and get back on track financially. Don't let your crafting addiction ruin your financial stability. Take action today to ensure a brighter and more secure tomorrow. Another sign is that you're taking up way too much space. Do you have a room full of half-finished projects and supplies? If you're taking up excessive amounts of space with your crafting supplies and projects, it may be time to take a step back and evaluate your habits. It is important to have a comfortable and functional living space, and using up all of your storage with crafting supplies can make it difficult to do. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of stuff you have, consider donating or selling some of your supplies to free up some space. You may also want to set up a system for organizing your projects and supplies so that you can easily find what you need when you sit down to craft. Remember, it is important to have a healthy relationship with your hobbies and not let them take over your living space. If any of these signs sound familiar, don't worry. There is help available. The first thing you can do is to admit that you have a problem. It can be difficult to admit that you may have a problem with crafting, but it's the first step towards recovery. Once you've admitted that you need help, reach out to friends or family members who can provide emotional support during this time. They can help you stay accountable and on track as you make changes to your crafting habits. You can also join a support group for people with similar issues. Support groups can provide a safe and non-judgmental environment where you can share your experiences and learn from others who understand what you are going through. And there are even online support groups available if you prefer to connect with people virtually. Another thing you can do is to seek professional help. A therapist or counselor can help you explore the underlying causes of your crafting addiction and develop healthy coping mechanisms. They can also provide guidance and support as you make changes to your lifestyle and develop healthier habits. Remember that seeking professional help is a sign of strength and self-awareness, not weakness. With the right support and treatment, you can overcome your crafting addiction and develop a healthier relationship with crafting and other hobbies. There are some other things you can try as well. One suggestion is to set limits for yourself. It can be helpful to set daily or weekly limits for the amount of time you spend crafting or the amount of money you spend on supplies. Having these boundaries in place can help you stay on track and avoid getting carried away. You can also try setting aside specific times of the day or week for crafting so that it does not interfere with other aspects of your life. Another good tip is to find alternative activities to keep your hands busy. If you find yourself constantly wanting to craft, try finding other activities that can keep your hands busy, such as gardening, cooking, or playing an instrument. This can help channel your energy into something else and reduce the urge to craft excessively. You can also try taking up a new hobby that does not involve supplies or large amounts of time and money. This can give you something else to enjoy and can help break the cycle of crafting addiction. Remember that overcoming any addiction takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. With the right mindset and support, you can take control of your crafting habits and enjoy it as a fun and rewarding hobby. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.